Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. In today's video, we are taking a look at macro top predictions, whether or not Bitcoin will see $100,000, when the next bear market could potentially start, the 4-year cycle, short-term charts, and the altcoin market cap. We have so much to be taking a look at in today's video, and by the end of today's video, you'll have a deep and detailed understanding of not only what is happening, but what is likely to occur next. Before we get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos of Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you were interested in, join us on Telegram. It is the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin, and the relevant economic news. And if you were interested in taking your trading to the next level, you can join us over in VIP. We post trading setups with exact entry prices, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and so much more. You'll also get access to all of our group chats, our general chat, our trading chart and education chat, our daily video help, news, and trade setup chat. Check it out, guys, by clicking the pinned comment in the free channel. Click my name or these links for more information. Again, you can find that in the pinned comment of the free channel. Let's go ahead, guys, and jump on in. So as we can see, over the past 24 hours, Bitcoin has continued aggressively toward the upside, creating yet again another brand new all-time high, just shy of 94,000, sitting around 93.3k. With this massive move upwards, a lot of people are starting to wonder, should I be jumping into the market? A lot of people may be sidelined, a lot of people are already in, a lot of emotions are starting to brew up. The big question is, how much more can Bitcoin really go? And in today's video, we are taking a look at a prediction we made over a year ago, discussing where the likely top could be and whether or not that top is going to be a macro top or a local top before we eventually then see the price reclaim and push higher. We'll come back to that in a second. Moving over to the market data, 24-hour volume is down 19% at 437 billion. Looking at 24-hour liquidations, we are down 0.5% at 863 million. Of the 863 million, 539 million coming from longs, indicating a lot of people are trying to late long or jump into longs over here on every single push upwards, and 323 million coming from short positions. Moving over to the DXY, we can see the DXY is actually broken upward over here, breaking out of a 1-year long diagonal resistance. I did not anticipate this to happen, but now that it has happened, we are watching for rejections at our critical major higher time frame resistance at this 107 point. Moving over to the S&P 500, we can see the S&P 500 is still sitting above 6,000. As we have mentioned during the last few weeks, we are trading off an invalidation method, meaning provided the S&P 500 is able to withstand and hold above our prior high points, particularly at 5,600, we are expecting the price to continue. If you've been following the channel for a while, you would know we have been bullish since the breakout at 4,000, and we have been targeting 6,000 ever since. Pretty much every single video since then, we've been telling you 6,000 target relentlessly. Every single video we have hit that level, and now we are telling you that only upon the weekly close below the prior high are we flipping bearish. Until then, we remain bullish with open higher time frame targets. With that being said, guys, let's discuss what we are jumping into. Like we said today, we are talking about the altcoin market. We are going over the total cryptocurrency market. We are going into massive detail on the short term, giving you a game plan to what is likely to happen and what to expect and how to react. And we'll also be going over massive detail in regards to a prediction we made over a year ago, discussing a potential top, which sits at 94,000. We're taking a look at that prediction, what it means for us, whether or not I still think it is legitimate, whether or not we should pay any attention to it, and then we'll also be taking a look at the potential move to 100k, what that means for Bitcoin and what that means for altcoins, as well as going over potential top signals such as the vortex trend indicator and the RSI indicator. So before we get into all of that, a quick word from today's video sponsor. If you want 15% off for life on all your trading fees, sign up to BitGet, BitUnix, or BingX. I personally trade on BitGet and BitUnix. You can sign up to get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15% with my links down below. Again, you'll get that 15% off. You'll help me support the channel and support yourself. That 15% can build up to a 45% lifetime discount based on your trading volume. We'll play a quick ad and we'll jump back in. I'd like to introduce our partner, BitUnix. BitUnix is a global, non-KYC, no country restriction exchange, making it a perfect exchange to trade on if you're from the USA, from Canada, the Netherlands, or just prefer to trade without KYC. This exchange is a futures and spot exchange with over 200 different trading pairs, and some of the lowest fees in the game. If you sign up with my link down below, you'll get access to 15% off your trading fees, as well as an exclusive reward center where you can claim up to a multitude in USDT prizes. So go ahead and sign up with my link down below for 15% off, and I'll see you in there. Okay guys, let's go ahead and jump back in, and we are starting on the monthly chart discussing the prior macro top target we had, whether or not it is still valid, what it means and how we came to that number, and what it means really for us and our decision making moving forward. So if you have been following the channel for over a year, you would know we've had many different top prediction models that we created ourselves, whether it be from a date range trend perspective. We're looking at the 12 to 18 bar theory, which we'll discuss in a second, and that is kind of giving a date when the top is expected. We have the 4-year cycle, 1064 day theory, which brings us to a potential top in October, which is still valid. And then of course we have price prediction targets, and these models are based on mainly ratio analysis and based on where the price has been and how long it takes the price to move to specific levels historically and extrapolating that forward. One of the methods we used all the way back last year when Bitcoin was about $20,000, we use a method which is simply taking a ratio analysis of prior extension moves from yearly resistances to prior all-time highs, and then actually using the ratio, which is again, if we divide the two numbers by each other, we get the ratio, and we use that, extrapolating that forward to represent the diminishing returns of Bitcoin's price action as the market cap generally increases to give a macro top target. So in this instance, as we can see, the prior cycle from the yearly breakout point, this is going to be the yearly breakout point, the dead cat bounce high, yearly breakout, we take the distance in terms of percentage from the breakout to the high, that was 2,436%. We do exactly the same thing in the prior cycle, that gives us 482%. We then divide those numbers by each other, that gives a number around 0.1935 something. Continuation, we then divide this number 482 by that number, and it gives us 95.36. And that is suggesting Bitcoin will likely see at least, and this is the key word, at least a 95.36% move from the yearly resistance, which was 48,000. That gave us a macro top target of 94.3K. Now, we have held this view pretty much religiously ever since Bitcoin was back at around this $20,000 mark. Again, we've made all these videos. You can go check them all out. This is just one of the methods. Another method we used the total market cap. We extrapolated when the top would likely be based on March and April, and it gave around 132,000. So our top targets for Bitcoin have always been around 96, which has now been revised to 94, 94.3 to 132,000. Those are our logical and I would say very attainable top targets. You are going to hear people say 400,000. You are going to hear people say 300,000. And guess what? Those are just completely unrealistic. The top is always lower than people expect. Just like the bottom is always higher than people expect. Now, I do not believe we're getting very, we're getting very close to its target, and I don't believe this will be the macro top for Bitcoin. I do not believe this is the end of the cycle. I do not believe this is it, 94K, we're going down into a bear market. I do not believe that to be the case. However, I do believe this is suggesting 94K could be a short-term reversal point. It could be a local top before a pullback. We have seen a massive move upwards for Bitcoin over the past many weeks, and we could potentially see a pullback and then money rotating to altcoins, and then the market continue up into 2025, fulfilling the 4-year cycle theory into October 6. So let's take this at face value for now and say, well, 94,000, regardless of whether it's a top or not, is going to be a key level of resistance or a key level based on our ratioed moves from historical cycles. And that is why I personally actually scaled out of my Bitcoin. As you know, I've sold a lot of my Bitcoin. Now I've been in since 16.5K, and I've sold a lot of my Bitcoin now at around this $90,000 mark. The reason I've done that is because of two things. Number one, I do not want to be holding to resistance. I'll happily rebuy those positions when Bitcoin can show that it's holding above 100,000. And number two, I do believe most of the market's profits are going to be coming from altcoins and Ethereum from around about this point onwards. We can already see a lot of meme coins, Peep, Boom, Flocky, with a lot of these coins starting to push up aggressively. And we can see how the money is starting to slowly trickle down into these market movers, these altcoins, mainly these meme coins to start off with, and that money will eventually rotate into the rest of alt. So I'm selling my Bitcoin personally. I haven't sold all of it, but I'm selling a decent percentage of it. Again, when I bought at 16.5K, I was never going to hold it. I'm not an investor. I'm a trader. My intention was always to sell it. Now I've reached very, very close to my target at 94K, so I'm scaling out and I'll likely sell the rest then. If we do see a pullback, altcoins are going to shine, Ethereum's going to shine, and again, that is how I'm personally play it. So when do I think Bitcoin is going to top? Based on our date range trends, we do have two methods. We have got the 4-year cycle method, which is the traditional 4-year cycle, simply taking the days between bottoms to tops, which is around 1,064 days. Again, bottom to top, we apply that to the current cycle, exact bottoms to exact top. That would give us a date of around the 6th of October. So according to the 4-year cycle, there is still much more room, about 8 more months left of this potential bull run where we could see the market push up. But it's unlikely we just see green candle after green candle for 8 months. We're going to see pullbacks along the way, and it is normal to see these pullbacks and these corrections to allow money to rotate into other coins. So I do think the top could be at October 6, 2025. For now, that is just a point of interest. The real top for Bitcoin, we have not really seen that yet, and the only way to really predict that is when we see it. We'll know it when we see it, and we'll show you a few methods we can use to actually get that in a second. So moving over to our date range trend, the more conservative approach we do have is going to be the 12 to 18 bar theory. If we take a look at the 12 to 18 bar theory, we can take the measured move from specific points. We take the measured move from the break of prior all-time highs applied to the breakout, that is going to be our 8 bar. We take our measured move from the prior breakout of the yearly bear market over here, that is going to be our 18 bar. So 12 to 18 bar theory, we apply that over here. Again, this is going to be 16. We apply it over here, that is going to be 12. So what we're doing essentially is we're looking at key historical resistances, whether that be the prior all-time highs or prior bear market resistances in both cycles, and then we're taking the largest of the two in terms of the distance between the breakout and the all-time high, and then we're taking those two numbers and then we're applying it to the current cycle. So in reference to the current cycle, we would have 18 bars from the 30K breakout, which takes us to April 2025, and we have 12 bars from the breakout of the prior all-time high, which would take us to March 2025. So a conservative top date for Bitcoin could potentially be March to April 2025, with a potential latest top date as per the 4-year cycle in October 2025. Now, here is the most important thing out of everything. Asset prices move based on policy, particularly monetary policy, okay? As we are seeing interest rates come down, and we are expecting to see interest rates continue toward the downside, it is very likely the flow chart we have been talking about for the last 2.5 years will play out as expected. We saw it play out perfectly on the inverse. There's no reason it won't play out perfectly this time around, because money flows exactly the same way as it always does. What we are seeing is we're seeing interest rates fall. With interest rates falling, we see the debt to service ratio decrease. If debt to service ratio decreases, available household cash flow increases, spending in the economy increases, okay, inflation starts to increase, and we start to see asset prices rise. As companies acquire assets on cheaper debt, individuals can acquire debt cheaper and therefore have more money to spend on assets as the dollar is decreasing in value. We see this process play out. So this process takes many months to play out. It's not immediate. It's going to take like 5, 6, 7 months, which is another reason why I don't believe the macro top is in for Bitcoin yet, because of this model over here. It is suggesting we have many more months of macro asset growth. That does not mean we won't see a local top. We could see this 94K region as we predicted, over a year ago. And we got very close. We got within, what is this? Within $1,000, guys. Come on. We talked about this target at $20,000. We got within $1,000 of this target. That's crazy if you ask me. So even if this is the top, that was a perfect prediction there. But if this is a local top, and we see a correction, we'll discuss that in a second, by the way, that doesn't necessarily mean this is the macro top, okay? It is just a local top for Bitcoin. That is kind of the expectation we're moving. So let's talk about potential top prediction methods and how we are trading going forward. So as I always say, and like I said, this video is going to be a confusing one. It's a very big one. So rewind, watch the things again, and really listen to what I'm saying, trying to twist the words or hear what I'm saying. I'm trying to be quite precise with what I'm saying. We have to take the market at face value. When we're moving into price discovery, which is essentially we don't have historical price action data at these levels. Essentially, that means we don't have historical data of people, okay, actively buying or selling this asset at this price point. The market is still trying to find out whether or not this asset is valued at this price and is acceptable to be valued at this price. So we haven't got historical data, so we don't know how people are going to react at these levels, except what they are doing in real time, which makes it much harder to predict how the price action is going to move on a higher time frame. And therefore, we have to trade based off an invalidation method, meaning while the macro uptrend is intact, while the trend is bullish, so shall you be. If we take a look at historical macro uptrends, the points of which the macro uptrends have turned into macro downtrends have been when the weekly price action has broken below the Gaussian channel upper band and the leading span A of the macro of the Ichimoku cloud indicator. Upon the breakdown of these points, we enter a macro downtrend. This does not get you at the exact top, but it prevents you from holding a macro downtrend, which is the most important thing. Preservation of funds is very important. I always say, you should be mostly out of your positions by the time the top is in. If you are mostly out of your positions by the time the top is in, you have succeeded. If you are trying to sell the day of the top, it's not going to happen unless you have a bit of luck. And if you're trying to sell after, well, then most likely you're going to have a lot of emotions involved in those decisions. So sell into the uptrend and then buy when the price action's stabilizing on the bottom. So taking a look over here, guys, a breakdown of these levels would signify a bear market or a macro downtrend. And that is kind of when we'll be flipping bearish. In terms of macro tops, the best indicator we can give you over here right now that can predict tops is simply going to be assessing the directional changes of the trend and the strength of those directional changes, which is the Vortex Trend Tracker. We are watching for a retest of this high. A retest of this high, no matter where the price is at that time or when that level is hit, that could be a pretty good assessment of the top. We can see it starting to curve around. If we just simply take that curve upwards, that would reach around the end of 2025. We could potentially reach that October 2025 point. So there is still a lot of time for the market. The market potentially does have a lot more movement to come. And again, I will remain bullish until the bearish signals do trigger. I've been bullish since 16.5K, and I will remain bullish until those bearish triggers trigger. But for myself personally, I have sold a lot of my Bitcoin because number one, like I said, I've hit my targets. I've been here since 16.5K. I'm taking profits. I'm paying myself. But number two, most importantly, I believe most of the profits from now on out are actually going to come from Ethereum altcoins. So I don't want to be stuck in Bitcoin. I want to be in those positions. I want to be trading those conditions. And on the side, I'll continue to trade Bitcoin, scalp trade Bitcoin, intraday trade Bitcoin, but I don't think I'm going to be holding Bitcoin as much as I have been. Now, if that turns out to be a horrible idea, so be it. In my eyes, it was a win. 16.5K to 92K, fantastic trade. It's a win. At the end of the day, making money is what matters. Making profit is why we trade. It doesn't matter when you're out of the position. Whatever the asset does is irrelevant. If you're a trader, whatever the price of the asset is doing when you're out of a position is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is percentage change when you're in a trade, okay? And an investor has a different mindset, but I'm not an investor, I'm a trader. A lot of investors on this channel probably thinking, well, that doesn't suit me. Sure, you have to find what works for you, but as a trader, and for the traders who are watching, you don't want to shift your mindset into the investor mindset. When you're in a trade, you were in a trade. When you were out of a trade, it doesn't matter, okay? Only the percentage change of the asset matters when you're in the trade, not out of it. You do not risk opportunity cost as a trader. You do risk opportunity cost as an investor, as you can only trade in one direction. Moving over, guys, let's go to the short-term price action. The short-term price action is looking a little choppy. There's a lot to talk about over here, so let's dive into it. There's some very, very key levels I want to discuss, and let's just jump into it. So we can see over here, we've got our liquidity ranges as marked by our blue levels, which are also our support levels, and our resistance levels marked by our gray levels, which again are acting as pretty critical resistances. We can see we've got our low at 84,000. This again is going to be essentially the lowest Bitcoin could go here while remaining short-term bullish. If we drop below 84,000, we run the risk of seeing much, much steeper corrections. We're looking into 82,000, potentially even lower. Now, I do not believe this is going to happen, but that is a risk of occurring if we drop below. At the moment, if we break back above 91,000, it is highly likely we come back and swing toward this upper side, this buy side liquidity, potentially even pushing into a new all-time high. At the moment, while we sit above these levels of resistance, this is going to be now an area of support. We've flipped resistance into support, and the upward directional move is actually quite likely. If we drop back below here, we are watching for sweeps of our sell side liquidity, particularly the 86.6 to 85.6 liquidity pocket. So we drop back below, we are watching for a move into here where we would then bounce and continue higher. And on the short term, we are watching for breaks of 91 for continuations higher. This range is a range of indecision. And below, we are in this neutral territory. Below here, we are starting to look short-term bearish, and above here, we are very, very bullish for continuations. I'm going to keep that short and sharp, guys, as the video is taking some time. That is the short-term price action. Let's move over to altcoins and then wrap it up again. The video is taking some time today. Altcoins are still looking fantastic. Again, as we said, we have been bullish, and we said altcoins are bullish ever since we broke out of the resistance on the total 3. We stand by that. Altcoins are bullish. Altcoins look fantastic. In my eyes, the only thing that could really damage altcoins here is if we come back and drop below here, right? I'm going to remain bullish on altcoins unless it happens. If that happens, we drop below, well, then altcoins are in a world of pain, and I probably would exit my altcoins personally. Until then, I'm holding my altcoins. I'm expecting continuations, and we all know what happens above 850. Above 850, we go parallel. This is the parabolic trigger. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We are retesting the March high. So we are at resistance, but if we get up over here and push through, we are in the parabolic wave. So altcoins have a bright future ahead of them if they can continue upwards, if the market can stabilize. But most importantly, if and when Bitcoin does correct, we want to see Bitcoin dominance begin to drop. We want to see, it's already 61%. We want to see money rotate out of Bitcoin and into altcoins. You can see over here, it's still pushing upwards, and we would definitely want to see that as happening as the total market cap increases. That is the video today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Have a fantastic day. We'll catch you in the next one tomorrow. See you then.